Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Mercury Inconjunct Mars in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, if you have Mercury Inconjunct Mars in a natal chart, one way it could be expressed is that there may be an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, between, maybe needed between communication, which is Mercury, and sexual partners, which is Mars. One or the other may be overemphasized. There may either be too much, you may be dominated by too much communication and maybe not enough, the actual time with sexual partners, or the other way around. Or it could also mean that there may be too much communication with sexual partners to the exclusion of other things in your life, or there just may not be enough of that communication with those people. Now, let's say, if Mars is in Scorpio, as an example, sexual partners, one or more may actually be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant, or embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be people that are very incisive, probing, resourceful, resilient, empowering, transforming, but at the same time could also be jealous, manipulative and vengeful, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that, at times you may either exceptionally, talk about and, articulate, which is Mercury, what drives and motivates you, which is Mars. And then other times you just may be apathetic, those things, and, really just indifferent, not really talking at all about, just going, clamming up basically on those matters. Now, let's say if Mars is in Aquarius, as an example, what drives and motivates you, maybe things connected with humanitarianism, selflessness, altruism, friendships. It may be things associated with computers, electronics, innovation, aviation, meteorology, astrology, as some other examples. And let's say if Mars is in Capricorn, what drives and motivates you may simply be, career-oriented matters, career-related matters, ambitions, success, stature in life, social status, Capricorn-related activities in fields such as doing something with the government, politics, accounting, dentistry, masonry, information technology, as some other examples. And then, the thing about it is, and, there may be times, again, where you just may talk a lot about those things, and then other times be apathetic about it. But another thing, too, about Mercury Inconjunct Mars in a natal chart, in terms of how it may manifest, could be where at times you may extremely, if you're somebody that works out vigorously, as an example, you may extremely emphasize, building, the physical strength, which is Mars, in the arms, which is Mercury. Then other times, you may be completely almost oblivious to them. So if you're somebody, that's, somebody that works out and is into health and fitness, has a, regimen, exercise program, and you're building, you're working out your arms a lot, it could be that times that you may overemphasize that, actually. Then other times, you may, go for a while without doing it. So the key is, of course, to find the balance and equilibrium between these energies. And, the thing too is, could also be, where you may strongly accentuate at times taking action, which is Mars, in matters associated with siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury. Then other times you just may be, apathetic, indifferent in those matters. Let's say, for example, if Mercury, is in Aries, one or more siblings, cousins, and neighbors, may have an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody, the traits of the sign. It could be those that are aggressive, assertive, forceful, courageous, action-oriented, energetic, courageous, brave, but can be very outspoken, direct, maybe even sometimes be volatile. If Mercury is in Taurus, as another example, one or more siblings, cousins, or neighbors may actually be a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant person, or embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, those that are, very loyal, steadfast, money conscious, patient, persistent, persevering, trustworthy, people that have good, financial acumen, those that are very, basically unwavering, stable, steady people, as some other examples. Now, if you have, Mercury, again, another way that Mercury inconjunct Mars may manifest in the natal chart, because you can have a strong, vacillation of the energy, is that you may vacillate between, having an abundance and exorbitant amount of energy, which is Mars, for short journeys, which is Mercury. Then other times you just may be more lethargic and you feel like your energy may be zapped in those matters. Now, let's say if Mercury is in Pisces, as an example, short journeys may be ones that may be a little bit chaotic or convoluted. Maybe there's something nebulous and unclear about these trips. If Mercury is in Scorpio, as another example, the trips that you take as short journeys may be somewhat secretive, mysterious. They may be to occult, venues, which can include astrology. It may be to places that are very, like horror houses. If you're somebody that's into Halloween, and they have those haunted houses, and that could be another thing you may do. Mercury in Aquarius could be short journeys, to places connected with, computer, electronic expos, astrology places, could be, new technology, innovation conventions, as some other examples. Now, another thing about Mercury inconjunct Mars in the natal chart is that you may either be exceptionally enthusiastic, which is Mars, in terms of matters with communication, writing, and manual dexterity, which is Mercury. Then other times you may not show much exuberance whatsoever. You may be very impassive and very non-emotional regarding these things, and just lack any kind of drive and motivation. So the thing is, now naturally, if you have Mars in a sign like fire sign, Sagittarius as an example, that could really emphasize an exorbitant amount of enthusiasm and exuberance, and even more optimism, in those matters. So now another thing is that if you have, another way that this aspect may be expressed in the natal chart can be where you either have excessive, you may excessively analyze, which is Mercury, Mars related subjects, whether it could be war, sports, sex, or anger. Then in other times you just may not even want to think about them or try to analyze and understand those matters. If Mars is in Scorpio, it might be on more of a psychological level in those matters, such as sports, having getting the psychological edge in sports related competition. Now, another way this could be expressed is that you may either be extremely alert, which is Mars, when you're driving, when you're on the road, and driving is Mercury. Then other times you just may be completely, as lack of a better word, non-alert or oblivious, and not really be paying much attention, and just very inattentive to what's going on on the road. I mean, if Mercury's in Aries, you know, you may be someone that drives pretty quick or, you know, aggressively. So you have to, you know, be careful at those times if you're really not alert. But the reality is, you know, it's important to just, you know, be alert, but not, you know, constantly moving your head, you know, left or right either, you know, when you're driving, because even, you know, alertness in driving can have extreme, you know, moments to the point where you're constantly worried about, you know, what's all around you. But it's important to just be more of a assiduous, prudent driver than anything, you know, finding the balance between these energies. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.